Howdy, it's Gibberado, and this is actually October 17th, 2025, a Friday. We are in Kelly, Kentucky. Actually, we're just a little bit, I think, north of Kelly, Kentucky at this moment. I took a day off and drove down, man, probably 8+ hours round trip, and um, went to the GoblinCon, the big convention that is in Hopkinsville now to celebrate the Hopkinsville Goblins, which actually the whole thing is the Kelly incident or the Kelly encounter. August of 1955, little farmhouse in Kelly. Basically, 11 people were in the house. They reported that they were attacked by some little men. They described them as silver or kind of a gunmetal color. I always think of the color of like fish scales. That's how I visualize it. The news outlets, one of them reported Kelly Little Green Men. So I think the green kind of came from the name Kelly Green. But the Kelly Little Green Men, first time that the whole Little Green Men thing was used in media. But this family was attacked for some time, and then they piled into cars, drove to Hopkinsville, reported it to the police, who came out to investigate. They really couldn't find a lot. They did see a lot of shots had been fired. The police finally left, and then the little men continued their attack. They did not have weapons. I don't think they were really attacking the house. In fact, their hands were up in the air. But the family was threatened. They felt threatened, and they did shoot at the little men. They did not kill any. They said they basically would kind of do a flip and just sort of run off. It's a very interesting story. Please look it up if you have not. And it's also, if you're into UFOs and alien invasion kind of stuff, it's somewhat believable. None of the members of the family ever came out and changed their story. They all described roughly the same creatures. And yeah, it's, I know as a good old country boy myself growing up, you stare at stuff, you make sure you know what you're looking at. We're kind of in the vicinity. We're in Kelly right now, very small area. There's a park in town, and I've always heard that the actual incident happened a quarter of a mile, half a mile north of the park, which would be it would be on our left. But yeah, so we're sort of passing the area, just for what that's worth. But I thought I would drive out this morning and go to the little community park before I drove down to Hopkinsville, just to do it. Just because it seemed like the right thing to do and because I had time. So I'm pretty much in Kelly now, crossing the railroad tracks. Kelly's a pretty little country town. Again, reminds me of where I grew up. And my cousin and I growing up, we would go out, we'd wander through the woods, we'd wander through the woods at night. If we saw something, we would stare at it until we figured it out. By the way, we're just north of the park. Really, in this area where we're at, I think is where things happened. Cool train sitting there on the tracks. Love trains. But yeah, I think country people, they're reliable. Also keep in mind, ammunition is expensive. If you're going to fire your gun, you got to have a good reason. And I'm sure the Sutton family back in 1955 could not afford to use up much of their ammunition. Yeah, and towards our left, we're passing some houses here on the left. The house where it happened no longer exists. But again, if you drive up the road away from the park, we're driving south towards the park. It would be on our left. If you're driving away from the park and driving north, on your right is roughly where the farmhouse would have been. And, it's kind of been built over since then. Of course, if you do want to go see the site, it's technically on private property. And again, the house where it happened is long gone. But you can come out to the park. They used to have a Kelly Little Green Men Festival. I went there 2012, 2013. I can't remember when. They used to have it in this park right here. It was a very nice festival. Now Hopkinsville has kind of taken it over after COVID. I guess the town of Kelly could revive it, and they should. But Hopkinsville is actually doing a couple of festivals. So I was driving out today to go to that festival, and I'm sure I will be putting up another video if I have not already about the GoblinCon. It was fun, and I'm hoping they'll be able to pull it off again next year. Those things usually balloon. They start out slow, and after word of mouth gets out, they become pretty big. So I'm hoping that's how it goes for them. If you've been to Kelly, if you have any thoughts on the Kelly encounter, let me know. Thanks a lot.